Hi, my name is Mohammed and I will be doing my presentation on executive coaching intervention. History of executive coaching. In the past, seeking out the assistance of a coach might have been seen as weak or a symptom of incompetence. This view has changed so that the vast majority of US companies now offer coaching to top executives. Coaching today has borrowed tools and techniques from many sources and disciplines. Some can be traced back to the 1930s with the influential success formula self-help books of Dale Carnegie. The origins of the personal or executive coaching date back to the 1980s. Managers were asked to manage the performance and satisfaction of their team members in a direct way as HR was transformed to a support model. In the 1980s, management training emphasized communication, interpersonal skills, and a coaching style. In the UK, John Whitmore was a pioneer in bringing methods from sports coaching into the business world and coined the term performance coaching. He worked with Graham Alexander, who developed the GORE model, and Tim Galloway, whose work on the inner game identified that internal interference is what gets in the way of high performance, not the opponent. In the US, Werner Erhard's Erhard Seminars training approach stimulated Laura Whitford to develop the coactive coaching model and start the Coach Training Institute, and Thomas Lerner developed his life planning training to start Coach U. Both these coach training organizations have trained tens of thousands of coaches. Whitford is acknowledged for professionalizing coaching and Leonard for commercializing coaching. There was very little professional coaching. Management consultants used Edgar Schein's process consulting methodology to facilitate people and teams. Talented employees worked with a mentor to help with their career development. Those with difficulties consulted an employee counselor. Coaching was almost entirely for those at the top of organizations, and coaches were seen as a sounding board for top executives. In the 1990s, as the early schools of coaching started to turn out qualified coaches, the International Coach Federation was founded in 1995 to establish standards and competencies. The growth in coach training meant increasing numbers of coaches seeking to practice in personal life coaching and executive business coaching. Management consultants and trainers started offering coaching services, seeing it as an extension of the organizational and individual change services they already provided. In 2002, Catherine Topo and Alex Sabo founded the first dedicated body for coaches in the UK, Association for Coaching, to professionalize coaching and to provide learning, support, executive at the senior levels. Many ex-senior managers started coaching. They brought an expert approach. Management consultants and trainers use the tools and models for management development, often providing a blend of non-directive coaching and one-on-one training. In the 2010, around 2008, there was much debate about regulation, and the coaching bodies recommended self-regulation. One factor demonstrating self-regulation is supervision, and coach accreditation now demands that coaches have ongoing supervision. Coaches continue to take on developments in the understanding of thinking and behavior, as seen at this year's Association for Coaching 10-year anniversary UK conference, from inner game to neuroscience. With increasing numbers of coaches and growing performance coaching capability in companies, coaches are specializing. This is partly in response to buyers' preference for a coach with experience in the field. The early claims that a coach can help anyone are now moderated to specific markets. Purpose and target element of executive coaching. Goals of executive coaching include helping the client to improve the client's capacity to manage an organization, planning, organizing, staffing, leading, the client's ability to manage self and others, the client's ability to manage his or her career, and the ability to improve the effectiveness of the organization or team. The coach may help the client to develop a personal vision for the future, define gaps between where the client is today and where he or she would prefer to be, analyze internal and external obstacles and barriers to achieving that vision, and to set short and long-term goals. Coaching is a one-on-one intervention in which an individual works to improve a specific personal, interpersonal, or skill area, or to take action to reach a desired future goal, working with a facilitator on the process of personal change. Evidence behind the intervention and the analysis of evidence. The first group of uncoached managers participated in a feedback workshop shortly after the peer-measure multi-source feedback, and the second group participated in the feedback workshop plus several sessions with an executive coach thereafter. The pros are: results indicated that managers in both groups improved similarly as rated by direct reports, peers, and supervisors, whereas only those managers who received the executive coaching improved according to self-ratings. Specifically, the executive coaching intervention had a unique positive effect on managers' self-rated involvement, consistency, and mission-focused leadership behaviors. Findings supported the conclusion that MSF generally results in small to moderate positive improvement in leadership behaviors and skills. Effect sizes range from D equals 0.17 for changes in mission focused behaviors to D equals 0.27 for adaptability focused leadership behaviors. The results supported a unique positive effect associated with executive coaching for self-rated leadership behaviors, for example, involvement, consistency, and mission. The cons are, in contrast, the coached and uncoached leaders experience comparable growth and these dimensions based on ratings by direct reports, peers, and supervisors. The incremental benefit of adding the executive coaching sessions centered on leader changes in self-ratings over time. The only other study to have tested the incremental benefit of executive coaching did not examine changes in leaders' self-ratings. Whether improvements in self-ratings provide adequate justification for the added expense of executive coaching is a complicated issue with several practical and conceptual considerations. Evidence behind the intervention and the analysis of evidence continued. Executive coaching is an important intervention and a competency of consultation. In addition, it is a role function of the consultant. Witherspoon and White carefully deconstructed the various role functions of executive coaching in terms of client needs. The pros of this study is they indicated that an executive has four primary needs: to learn a new skill, to perform better in the present job, to prepare for a future leadership role, and to exercise the executive agenda. Accordingly, they indicated that executive coaching has four role functions, one function for each of the executive needs. They describe these as skill coaching, performance coaching, coaching for development, and coaching for the executive agenda. Recently, coaching, including executive coaching, has been designated as a profession. Space does not permit a critical evaluation of whether coaching does, in fact, meet the criteria for a profession. Nevertheless, the International Coach Federation makes that claim, and to support it, has developed its own certification mechanism and a code of ethics. A form of executive consultation in which a trained professional, mindful of organizational dynamics, functions as a facilitator who forms a collaborative relationship with an executive to improve his or her skills and effectiveness in communicating the corporate vision and goals, and to foster better team performance, organizational productivity, and professional personal development. There are three types of such coaching: skill-based, performance-based, and developmental executive coaching. There are no cons in this evidence. The presumed outcomes of executive coaching are changes in managerial behaviors with presumed increases in organizational effectiveness. The first sample of 30 MBA students at a Canadian university, Su Chen and Layden found that external coaches were more effective in bringing about performance changes and teamwork behaviors than peer coaches. A second sample of 23 experienced managers in an Executive Master of Business Administration program at an Australian university was used to verify the findings from the first sample. However, in the study, grade earned in a course on human resource development and satisfaction with the coaching process were selected as outcomes. The results revealed that the EMBA students who were assigned external coaches earned a significantly higher grade than those who were assigned peer coaches and were also more satisfied with their coaching sessions in both samples. Credibility of the coach was also assessed and found to be higher for external coaches than peer coaches. Once the regular coaching sessions conclude, coaches may follow up with executives to assess the impact of the coaching relationship. Coaches may collect data from the clients on their learning experiences and how coaching affected their effectiveness in the organization. If the coach's services are paid for by the organization, the Human Resources Department may conduct an independent evaluation of the consultant's effectiveness with the executive or assess whether the executive's performance has improved since the coaching relationship terminated. The cons of the study are there's something of a black box feel about much of the current coaching literature. We know it can work, but often do not know why it works or how it could work even better. Without a stronger theoretical foundation and empirical research, coaching runs the risk of falling into a passing trend that has no advocates because it has no evidence. The researchers are hopeful that the directions for future research provided here will prove helpful to both scholars and practitioners interested in developmental relationships in the workplace. The domain of what coaching encompasses, the activities and responsibilities of coaches, and the kinds of recipients of coaching are now so diverse that it is more difficult to put boundaries around the construct itself and the appropriate range and scope of its associated outcomes. My recommendation on executive coaching. I recommend that executive coaching interventions should be used because Witherspoon and White write that there are a number of coaching roles depending on the goals of the client, which are coaching for skills, learning focused on a specific task, coaching for performance to improve the job functions of the client more broadly, coaching for development to develop the client for a future role, and coaching for the executive's agenda. The coach acts as a third-party observer to assist the executive with business decisions. Thank you for watching my presentation.